Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired in your current role or your current job? Have you been thinking about making a change, but you don't know where to start, or you get too overwhelmed when you begin applying for jobs? Well, if so, you've come to the right place. In this video, I'm going to cover the 3 easiest starting points to start your job search the right way. There's so many ways to start it the wrong way. These 3 tips I'm going to cover in this video will help you to get a firm, good start on your job search so you can be successful and find a job that you actually want to be successful in. Stay tuned. Hi there, Micah with Shinebright Career Coaching. We've created this channel to share with you tips, insights, our advice, and all of our experiences that we've built over the last 10 years, helping people to figure out the best path forward for their career development, to level up in their current role, and to get the job they want. So today I wanted to talk to you about how to start your job search correctly. Many people feel like, okay, it's time for the change. I feel burnt out, I'm unhappy in my current role, but where do I start? And what happens is we mostly go, new job, I need to go to the job boards. I need to update LinkedIn and start applying. And that is absolutely the wrong way to start your job search. So, tip 1, make sure that you know what job you want to have next before you start applying. This sounds very simple, but actually, sometimes we're leaving a role not only because we don't like our manager, but because it's maybe time for a job switch, or we are ready to get to the next level in our career. And these types of things need to be determined before you actually start interviewing or applying. So the way to think this through is to make a list of what you like in your current role and what you don't like. And then also make a list about the things you want in your next role. After you do this, make sure that you read through them and see if the job that you're in and the next step in that job path is actually where you want to go. So often clients will tell me that, I'm working so hard, I'm ready to get to the next level, and they're starting to, update their resume and really want to get to that next level. But then in our coaching, it comes out that they don't think they want the life that their boss has. They think that, the hours and the work-life balance isn't exactly where they want to go. And so then all of a sudden they have a career change in front of them. And, that's okay. Those are all things that you want to determine before you waste any time or have any networking conversations about helping you to get the next role. So again, you want to determine what you don't like about your role, what you want in your next role, and you want to make sure that you understand the name of the next role you're going after. So for instance, if you're a marketing manager in entertainment and you want to get to the director level, you want to be able to say that in your interview. You want to go after roles that have director in the title maybe, or that there's a growth path to that from manager. So again, you have to have a deep understanding of where you want to go. If you make those lists and determine you want to change careers, really take some time understanding what type of job you will need to make that pivot. And again, don't just start applying. Make sure you know the role, the title, the industry, all of the specifics about where you want to go so that you can start actually planning for that job interview process and building a personal brand. So step 1 is to make sure you know where you're going. Step 2 of the job search is to make a plan. Once you know where you're going, you need to figure out how you want to get there. So knowing what role you want is important. Also knowing what type of company you want to work for is important. So before you start making the plan, make sure you research the companies that you actually want to target, and then you can make a plan from those companies. And during this time, what you need to do is actually figure out where you want to apply and how you want to apply. Again, people go and spend all their time applying blindly to companies that they don't know anyone at. So within your plan, you need to determine how much time will I spend networking, how much time will I spend developing my personal brand on my LinkedIn, my resume, and on my cover letters. And also, how much time will I spend developing my personal brand, commenting on other people in the industry on LinkedIn, and making sure that I am selling myself in interviews in a way that also is my personal brand. So, making a plan is about dividing your time, it's about being conscientious of where you want to go, and it is about targeting your companies that you want to work at. Within that time of networking, you want to reach out to people in those companies. So this takes a lot of different types of effort. And if you don't have a plan going into it, it can get very convoluted. And what's easiest to do is to go back to the job boards. And that's not always effective. You want to make sure you're building the personal brand, spending time networking, targeting companies, creating relationships there, and then also applying to some jobs along the way. So step 2 is making sure you have that plan. Step 3 is pretty logical. It's about scheduling how you're going to execute that plan. So most of us, when we're job searching, have a full-time job, and we also probably have other responsibilities outside of work. And so it is hard to often make sure that we're doing consistent work on our job search, consistent work on our personal brand. Each piece of your plan needs to have you showing up at it weekly to make sure it's executed and that you're moving forward. If you're working a full-time job and there's a big project coming up, you can scale back the amount of job search time that you put into your week. If you find it's a slow time in the office, you can scale up. But the point is to be very intentional about making small steps or spending more time, if your schedule allows it, on your job search. Showing up, working on your plan weekly, being thoughtful, being intentional, and being consistent on all the different parts of your plan will help you to not only get the job you want faster, but also to make sure that you are getting a job that you actually want because it aligns with what you've thought through in step 1. So these are all very connected. These tips are all very relatable, I believe, and kind of easy to execute, but it actually takes time. Sitting down, deciding where you want to go, sitting down, making a plan, and then scheduling it and executing it is hard in our busy lives. But I do want to offer you some words of hope. When you start making this plan and start spending time weekly on executing it, it starts to feel good. It actually combats the overwhelm, because when we are feeling like I'm unhappy where I am, but I don't know where I want to go, it's really, really hard to feel energetic. It's really hard to kind of pull ourselves back into our personal life when we're going down that rabbit hole of career unhappiness. And so I want to offer this to you. Take the time, make the plan, be intentional, schedule the time, be consistent, have conversations to grow your network and to learn more about those companies. Each one of these pieces of the job search strategy is actually incredibly empowering. And when we feel empowered, we find more energy to show up. When we feel empowered, we are able to show up and be our best self. And when we feel empowered, we make good decisions for ourselves. What I mean by that last point is we don't just start grabbing whatever's closest and easiest. So often when we are burnt out, overwhelmed, or unhappy in our current role, we just grab at the next role that's easy, the low-hanging fruit. And often we find ourselves in 6 months, 1 year, or even less, 1 month, realizing, wow, this job is just the same as the last one. All the issues I didn't like are still here, or perhaps it's even worse. So taking the time to be consistent, building a plan, scheduling your time, knowing where you're going gives you that sense of empowerment that you actually are taking charge of your life. And that's the most important piece of this whole video, is to give yourself the chance to be empowered. Give yourself the chance to be intentional. And if you follow these steps, you will immediately start to feel better. That much I promise you. Take the time, be intentional, and get started on the job search in the right way so that you don't waste time and you can move forward more quickly to a better fit career, to a better fit company, or to the next level in your career path. I wish you all the best. If you found that this was helpful, or if you have questions, please leave comments for us. We'd love to answer them. If you like this type of video, please subscribe to our channel. And I just want to say, wishing you the best of luck on your job search, and get out there and be intentional, spend the time, and take the right steps.